Hello friends, welcome to chess training. In this video, we are going to discuss about how to find the checkmating attacks. In this particular position, it is white's chance to play. We have already seen in the previous videos as to what is check and what is checkmate. So in this position, we will search or we will learn about searching checkmates. In first position, it is white to play. Let us try to visualize where the black king has the squares to run. As we can see, our king is controlling 1, 2 and 3, these three squares. As you already know, the two kings cannot go near to each other. So the black king is left with this square and this square, the squares on the last line. So white plays rook here, gives him a check. Now there is no square for black king to run, so it is checkmate. Let's now go to the next example. In this position, it is white to play. What white observes is his pawn is controlling this square. Black king cannot come here as there will be check from the pawn. Now what are the checks available to the white? If he gives this check, then the king may run either to this square or he could run inside as well. So this is why white observes black king has 1, 2 and 3 squares on the last line. So the rook goes there and attacks there. So check and mate. Next example. In this situation, it is white's chance to play. As we can see, where are the squares for the black king? Our king is controlling this square. So his king is left with these two squares. So we bring our rook here with checkmate. In this position, it is white's chance to play. Our knight is controlling this square and this square. So now the black king is left with 1, 2 and 3 squares. So white brings his rook here, attacking the black king. Now black king has no squares to run, so checkmate. The next example now, it is black to play. As we can see, the black rook is attacking the second rank and the knight is attacking this pawn as well as this square. Black plays rook captures pawn, check. Now the white king cannot move to this square because the knight is attacking there, and white king cannot capture this rook because it is supported by the knight. Remember, the piece which is supported cannot be captured by our king. Next example now. In this example, it is white to play. Let us see the squares around the black king. Our king is controlling these two squares and our knight is attacking this square and this square. So what can white play? White has got two checks. One is rook h8. But is it really a correct check? No, it's not a correct check. Why? Because the black queen is attacking there and queen can come and capture our rook. So this is why white plays the move rook to d5 and he is attacking all over the squares near the black king. So it results in a check and mate. Let's now see the examples where we checkmate the enemy king with our camel or bishop. So in this position, it is white's chance to play. White starts with the white observes that his bishop is attacking this square and the king is controlling these two squares. As we already know, the two kings cannot go near to each other. So black king cannot come here. So white now plays bishop coming here with check, and with this he has a check and mate. The next example now. In this situation, let us observe the squares around the black king. Our king is controlling these two squares. Our pawn is attacking this square and this square. And now where are the squares for the black king? See, one more point to understand. Our pawn, who is controlling this square and this square, is supported by our pawn behind. So this is why the black king cannot come and capture this. As we can see, black king is left with three squares. This square, this one and this one. All of them fall on one diagonal. So white brings his bishop here, gives a check. No square for black king, so checkmate. Now white to play. White captures the black bishop and gives him the check. As we can see, there is no square for the black king to move. So this results in a checkmate. The next example now. Our knight is supporting this square and controlling this square. Our pawn is controlling this square, and our king has attacked these three squares. So if we look at the box around the black king, what is box? All the squares around the enemy king. So if you look at that box, we can see that the black king is left with only these two squares. So we bring our bishop and give him a check. After this check, there is no square for him. So check and mate. The next example now. Here the white bishop is controlling this and this square, and our pawn is supporting the white bishop. So black king cannot capture the bishop. He is left with these two squares. So we attack there with our bishop. Now in this example, it is white to play. Our bishop is attacking this square. Our knight is attacking this square and this square. There is also bishop to help our pieces. So let's see where the bishop can give the check. If he gives this check, the king cannot capture this fellow. But what will happen is the knight will come and capture this fellow. So that will not result in a checkmate for white. So this is why white plays his bishop over here. Now the black king cannot capture this fellow because of knight's support. So checkmate. Now let us see some checkmates by the knight or horse. In this position, it is white's chance to play. White observes that his king is controlling these two squares. Black king is left with these two. So white attacks it with his knight. Checkmate. In this position, our pawn is attacking this square as well as this square. And our rook, even though it is attacked by the black pawn, he is supporting the pawn. So black king cannot capture this fellow. He is left with this square and this square. So white knight goes there, attacking both squares with checkmate. In this position, it is white's chance to play. Our knight is controlling this square and this square. White brings his another knight forward, attacks this square and this square, resulting in a checkmate. In this situation, it is white to play. Our rook is attacking this square and this square. But there is a small issue that the black king has attacked our rook and he is ready to capture our rook. So white brings his knight to this square. Now what white has done, he has attacked the black king and also supported his rook. Now the king cannot capture the rook because of knight's support, resulting in a checkmate. Now the easier example, our king is controlling these two squares. So white knight by jumping here gives a check. Now there is no square for the king to go, resulting in a mate. The next example. In this example, it is black's turn to play. As we can see, the black rook is attacking this line, this open line. Because of attack of black rook, the king cannot really come to these two squares. Now what are the checks available to the black knight? If he gives this check, what happens is the pawn is capturing him. So that will be not a mate, and also black will lose his knight. So this is why black plays the move knight e2. As you know, the knight can jump above the head and attack. So this has given a check to the king and he has no squares to go anywhere, resulting in a checkmate. So friends, if you are liking my videos, please share them with your friends. Subscribe my channel. Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you so much.